Hello and good morning. Welcome to Angels of Purpose Ministries, where you feed your soul food, food for your soul. No, I took over a week off, just getting things together and relaxing and letting people enjoy the holidays, Thanksgiving, and hopefully you did that. What I want to talk to you about today, we'll get into that in just a little minute. But let's go ahead and get into our Let's Talk About It series podcast by doing our declaration prayer first. God, make me a distributor of your resources, an ambassador of overflow, and vessel of your abundance. Remember, it's only 3 lines. We say it 3 times, 1 for the Father, 1 for the Son, 1 for the Holy Ghost. Here we go. 2 more times. God, make me a distributor of your resources, an ambassador of overflow, and a vessel of your abundance. 1 last time. God, make me a distributor of your resources, an ambassador of overflow, and a vessel of your abundance. Now, one thing I want to talk about a little bit more in detail, I did go over it quickly one other day, is the holidays. During the holiday season, a lot of people get depressed who maybe have gone through a divorce or lost a family member close to the holidays, or just lost a family member in there, and they're remembering them, or just going through something. Because when you lose people you love, whether it's somebody you loved who didn't love you back or didn't love you as much as you loved them, and you got divorced, or whether they died, or whatever it is, it's a loss. So what we're going to talk about today is losses. And food for thought is, what losses have you had what losses have you had in your life? What losses have you had in your life? And I'm typing that up. Have you had in your life? All right. Now, the reason I'm talking about that is because even those who people think have the best of life or have all the money in the world, everybody goes through something, right? Everybody goes through some hurt, heartache, some pain, and everybody handles it differently. But during the holiday season, it seems to hit a little bit harder. You seem to remember those you've lost too fast, those who've lost who've been taken away from you, or those you wish you could go back in time and make some different decisions, or you blame yourself for different things, right? What we have to understand, though, as far as I know, even though some people, they do TV shows and different things about time machines and different things like that, and we wish we could turn back the hands of the time, or some people even think there's different dimensions and parallels and different universes and all of that kind of stuff. Whether it's true or not, for me, I can't really say. I do enjoy the knowledge of science and what they call science fiction, but I always wonder where people get all of this imagination from, and is there a bit of truth in all of that? But what I wanted to encourage people today is, no matter what you're going through, even if you feel alone, or if you're introvert, which people think you may be an extrovert, but you don't like being around people as much, but you do it because you have to make money, or you do it because of you want to help others, but really you're hurting inside, and you're hiding those things that you're hurting, or your pain, and people don't realize it. And even though you might be around people all the time, you may still feel alone. Or for those who don't like being around and seclude themselves because they're depressed and don't want to get around people, I understand that as well. Everybody has struggled with that. I've struggled with different bouts of not wanting to be around people, because people, even young people, right? Because of their environment, they can be ugly, mean, rude, and just are pretenders, right? And sometimes it appears that those who do things that aren't right, and that they thrive, right? Like the mob. Just like most of the people who got rich in the world, they got rich in the world from doing evil things or wrong things, or taking from those, or prostituting the continent of Africa, or killing people and getting their money, or intimidating people, being bullies, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different things that go on. And then you have where people have been molested and raped. You have sex trafficking. You have human trafficking, where people do a whole bunch of things. And it seems that the powers that be, right, just like this administration that's in office, they take part in that and they help each other get off. It seems like some people, just because of their money or their power or whatever, they get away with other things when other folks have to pay into everything. Like the rich, the wealthiest of the wealthiest know how to do the loopholes and get around paying taxes, right? And be able to keep their wealth and keep building it. And then everybody else has to pay their taxes and can't get away with it, or they go to jail for not paying it or something like that. Different things that goes on all in the world. What I want to say is an encouragement. No matter what your loss is, whether it's financial, whether it's a person, whether it was the love of your life, whether it was a kid, whatever it was, remember, the Word of God says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And God is love, and he that loveth is of God. And the darkest hour is right before the breaking of the day. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That's most important. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. If we push through and don't succumb to our depression, don't succumb to our oppression, don't succumb to anything that tears us down, that tries to tear us down, that tries to weight us down, that tries to make us feel like only certain things can happen for certain people. Nothing good is ever going to happen to you. Fight that thought process and mentality. Be around those people who are going to encourage you. Everybody's not going to understand. Some people are going to try to blame you or try to kick you when you're down. Can't worry about those people. You got to find a way, a source, where there's getting to yourself and encouraging yourself and building yourself back up so you can be around people, or whether it's being around people who will encourage and not tear you down. Sometimes it's hard to find those types of people, right? Sometimes it's hard to know if people really want to be there for you, or they really just want to know what you're going through so they can use it against you. But just hold on. What I've learned is sometimes you can't put your trust in people. You can put your trust and faith in maybe the goodness inside of them, because everybody has goodness. Everybody has evil, except for maybe those who are narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths, because they've succumbed to the evil of their souls. But we just want to make sure that we remember, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. If we run and don't get weary, that in our due season we shall reap what we sow. So we should sow good seed. We should sow into people. We should encourage people, build them up. Don't worry about those who are constantly tearing people down or getting away with things. There has to be light in the world for all of this darkness. It has to be light and encouragement in your souls. And as we go through life together, we should encourage one another. We should, instead of, like they say, the TV shows that has the most drama are the ones that's the most popular. We should like those things that show love and show people encouraging one another and lifting each other up, more so than division and strife and drama, right? So our mindsets and mentalities need to change. But first, let's work on ourselves first. We need to make sure that we have the right vision, which in the podcast, I used to say a whole lot more than I do now. We should pray that God open our eyes so we can see what God would have us to see. Open our ears so we could hear what thus saith the Lord. And we should yield to the Spirit, to the word, the will, and the way of God. Not to what man wants or says, not to the misinformation or to the propaganda that man says, but to the truth. And the truth is, God is love, and he that loveth is of God. So those who are of love are going to spread, those who are of God are going to spread love, not hatred, not confusion, not strife. Even when we get upset with people for doing different things, or when we know that they're lying, or when we know that they're just all about ego or different things like that, we can't let that bother us. When we know they're just trying to, they're at everybody's house when something happens, not to really encourage them, but to be in their business so that they can have it in their back pocket. Or when we hear people, because they see good folks who are a remnant, actually doing stuff in the community, talking about their politicking. No, it's not politicking. It's because that's what they do. They have the wrong agenda. But there are true, sincere people who are looking to help others, to looking to bless others, whether it's spiritually, whether it's just an encouraging word, whether it's just being there for you, whether it's opening their door, whether it's for whatever it is. And we have to acknowledge that, and we have to encourage one another to continuously to do that, and know that greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world, and greater is the good and greater than the evil. That good overcomes evil. We have to live and walk in that, because so much is going on. So many people are hurting. They've always been hurting people throughout life because of how evil people can be when they get caught up in greed, the love of money and the love of power. And then because we want things sometimes that aren't good for us, and sometimes we want things that are good for us, and it might be the wrong timing or whatever it is, or we may not be ready to be able to handle the different things, but that's okay. In this time of season, when everybody's celebrating Thanksgiving and getting ready for Christmas and giving presents, this season should be all the time spreading love. Just think how good and marvelous the world would be if it wasn't just a season from Thanksgiving to Christmas. That if everybody had the mindset of giving, not just receiving, but giving of their time, giving of their money, giving of their love all year round, and not in competition, not trying to tear someone else down, not having the crab mentality, not having the mentality of just wanting to be empowered and be recognized, but having the servant mentality. The greatest leader, whether people realize it or know it, is a servant, has a servant mentality, knows how to serve. No, they are here to serve, not to be served. Those in power who just want to control everybody, manipulate everybody, those aren't the greatest leaders. And when we lose great leaders, and people try to spin different stories, but the great leaders that we've lost, like Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, lived his life throughout the time. Miss King, Dr. King's wife, right? Shirley Chisholm. I was putting some ladies in there too, because there's been great women. Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. Now, when we talk about Sojourner Truth, she was a woman who was born into slavery at the end of the slavery time, right? Escaped from slavery, just like Harriet Tubman, but she was more of a preacher. She spoke God's word and truth. Even in a time where women weren't given that ability to speak out, she spoke out. She wasn't afraid to. Sojourner Truth was. And she even spoke to those who they considered themselves, those who, back in those days, Quakers, and those who were part of the Underground Railroad and all of that kind of stuff. And she spoke to them to have more vigor and to fight for more stuff. She even spoke about Reconstruction, even though after slavery, when Reconstruction happened, then they went back into taking away those rights. Reconstruction, which was helping, and she fought for people having the 40 acres of land and a mule. This is Sojourner Truth. You can go research her. I encourage you to. But I think about all these people who went through slavery, escaped, and then still fought for others to have freedoms. Not just freedom of from the change to the physical freedom, but also the freedom of the mind. Because you can be set free from a certain thing, but still in your mind psychologically, it can have a hold on you. Just like those who've been raped or molested, or those who've lost somebody from a murder, or those who've lost somebody from a sickness or death, or someone who just lost somebody all of a sudden from a car accident. They've died, and you try to move on with your life, but there's something always there that makes you miss them, makes you miss their presence, right? So in these times, I just want to encourage you to find those who have a true heart to love, to encourage, to be there, to even just give you a hug or a smile, or just listen, not say anything, but just be there for you. And get through this season. That's the only way we can make it, is encouraging one another, loving on each other, focusing on the good, not the bad, focusing on love, not hate, focusing on unity, not division. And let's go from there. Remember, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning light, and God will turn your ashes into beauty. And he also will restore the years that the cankerworm has stole. Those are all different scriptures. I'm not going to put them up there. I want you to research them so you know for yourself. Because when you research stuff, you learn more. So let's be the light in this darkness. Let's show love in a time of all this division and hatred. And not just during this time of the year, but every day, 365 days of the year. So if you look at different calendars celebrate different parts. You have the Chinese New Year. You have different other things whose calendars, right? I would have to research that more to know. But as we know throughout history, everyone has put into the success and the help everybody thrive and build up humanity, right? And also everybody has put in or done things that has not shined so well on humanity. So we need to try to make sure in our minds that we're doing the things that help people, that benefit others, and not just ourselves. Have a blessed and prosperous day. Let's go ahead and say our declaration prayer. Again, God, make me a distributor of your resources, an ambassador of overflow, a vessel of your abundance. God, make me a distributor of your resources, an ambassador of overflow, a vessel of your abundance. One last time. God, make me a distributor of your resources, an ambassador of overflow, and a vessel of your abundance. Remember, it's better to give than receive, especially love. Give love each and every day. Have a blessed and prosperous day. We will talk to you soon.